So what we've done is we've taken all of that information, so all of the things that are out there in the market, and we've tried to distill it down into, I suppose, a bite-sized amount of information that can help you maybe make this jump to looking at doing these 2 appointment workflows. And here are the 4 main pathways. We've got photogrammetry on the left, typically looked at as being the gold standard, but perhaps it has got an expensive barrier. So the barrier to getting started is often cost. So maybe you need to have some volume of work there. Maybe if you're doing 1 or 2 cases a month, it becomes a big barrier to entry is the cost. And really thinking about that, we've brought to the market a product called Grammetry, which is a scan body based system, but you only need to use your iOS. And with your iOS and either ArchBridge, which is a horizontal scan body, or Optisplint, which is a scan body which can be luted together as a verification jig, that combined with your iOS, you can achieve the same accuracy of the end result as you can do with photogrammetry. And then you've got iJig, which is slightly more of an analog. It still has a digital starting point, but this is a sectioned try-in that is sent out to you where you lute it together, and you do that as a manual verification check in the mouth prior to sending that back into the laboratory. And this can give dentists maybe a little bit more flexibility because it's a one-off purchase rather than investing in any equipment at all, bar their iOS. So how do we achieve or guarantee passivity? And we do this through a product called Passivity Plus. And Passivity Plus can be added to any of those workflows that I've discussed, and we'll see some examples later on. But what is passivity and why is it important? Well, essentially, if you've got true passivity, your restoration is going to seat fully down onto the implants with no strain or distortion built into that restoration. So there's not going to be any tension in the screw. So quite often if you go to screw a restoration down and it's not passive, you will feel more tension in one screw than in another. That's not a good sign. And there's not going to be any flex, and you're not going to have to force the restoration down into position. If there is a lack of passivity, this puts stress on our full arch restorations. And really trying to achieve a true passive fit is almost impossible. But it's still something that we have to have that goal of. So from impression capture through to model fabrication, through to the actual manufacturing of the prosthesis, there can be lots, as we've discussed already, lots of little minor discrepancies that are important. If they all accumulate at every step, the prosthesis may look perfect, but when it seats, it's far from passive and it starts to fight against itself. And that leads to problems. And what sort of problems can that lead to? Well, there's probably 3 big warning signs. Number 1 is screw loosening. A non-passive prosthesis will create constant microstress on the screws. And that warning sign for us is that that screw is going to get loose. That can create emergency appointments, patients coming back in and out all the time. And then that creates a doubt in their mind as well as your own mind about the time that has been spent getting to that point. The other one is prosthesis fracture, because the stress doesn't disappear. Okay, just because you screw it down, you might feel a bit of tension, that stress has to go somewhere. And prosthesis fracture is obviously a catastrophic event. It requires a lot of time. It's expensive because it has to be replaced. And these you do not want to have in your practice. The third one, which is where we're beyond the screw, we're beyond the prosthesis, where that stress has gone right the way down into the implant. And this does and can occur. And this stress on the implant can cause things like bone loss or indeed even implant fracture. So that obviously is not what we want to see. How we test for passivity, it's really difficult. Lots of people talk about the one screw test or the Sheffield test. That's essentially a laboratory test, not a clinical test, because it's very difficult to see these things in the mouth. There are different techniques such as sequential screw tightening that can be used, visual or radiographic confirmation with no lift or rock. But from a clinical point of view, these can be very difficult to assess properly. We can take our x-rays and as I've said, look at it or feel it, but it's a little bit of a grey area. And what may feel passive to one person or one clinician isn't going to pass muster with another. So it's a grey area that we need to try to overcome. And how we have overcome it is with Passivity Plus. And really the whole idea of this is to relieve that stress. So what we're trying to do is uptake any little discrepancy along the line from record all the way through to manufacture, taking all of those little errors and then eliminating them at the very end when we go to fit the bridge. So it's a self-adjusting titanium base, so it's a tie base, and it's designed for use at this stage with all standard multi-unit abutments, so all standard 4.8s. It features a pivotable, so inside there's what can be described like a bell, okay, which is a movable interface, and it is this that compensates for the minor misfits during the prosthesis manufacture, okay. So you've got four main elements to it. The first element is the base body itself, which is the biggest component. There's a self-adjusting cap, which is this bell that sits inside. That's the bit that actually attaches down onto the MUA. You've got a specialized screw built within the tie base, and there's also a little patented washer. And all of these things work together to create this, what is quite a compact design to reduce the stress-related complications. So here's just a close-up image. You see you've got this external cap, which is going to be glued inside the bridge or the metal. It can be monolithic or even into the metal. You've got that special screw, that purple screw through the middle. You've got this conical abutment or body, which whenever the inner cap is screwed down onto the top of the MUA and the outer or the adjustable cap goes over the top, it cold welds or locks into place. So here's a little video that helps try to explain it. So here we've got a sort of a typical full arch. This is on the lower jaw, restoration on MUAs. This is normal vertical scan body system being scanned with an iOS. That information then is going to go to the lab. Now we know that vertical scan bodies with normal iOS is not particularly accurate in full arch work, so we already know that there's going to be a discrepancy. And here we have potentially a bridge made from that data set, and we would be almost 100% sure that there's going to be a misfit using that technique. And you can see here how the tie base is sitting up off the MUA, and that whenever the prosthesis is screwed in creates that tension, and that can lead, as we've already said, to fracture or even worse, potentially implant failure. So this is where the Passivity Plus tie base comes into play. So that's the movable bell at the base. Okay, and you can see how that's the screw will take up any discrepancy as you screw it down, and that's through the ability of the little washer that sits within the tie base. So here the bridge is going on, and here we're going to screw the bridge down, and you'll see the bell is movable. And remember, once it's locked down into position, it cold welds inside. It's not something that obviously keeps moving. So this allows, so the clinical benefit allows for micro adjustment during the seating and locks in that stability at the final torque, reducing the stress on the implants, which is really what we're trying to do. There's a certain seating sequence. You've got initial engagement when you go to fit, where it's just the hand turn of 2 to 3 turns probably per screw just to engage the threads in the MUA. And then once that's done, you have to allow that self-adjustment to start take effect. And you just go progressive tightening around the arch in a cross pattern just to gently and gradually tighten all the screws until everything is fully seated, and then you're going to torque to 25 Newton centimeters. And that's how you fit it. And this is essentially what it looks like. This is a monolithic bridge, Zirconia bridge, which has the Passivity Plus tie base already in position. And this is, if it's done with ArchBridge, can be a totally digital workflow, no model created during the process. And this is an example of a case where this particular lady had a full arch reconstruction done on the lower arch and had failing implants on the upper. And through a guided process, these implants were replaced. The patient was in a temporary bridge. And this, you'll be able to see, this is actually a tie or a tie bar with a monolithic sleeve. With this case, has also got pterygoid implants. And we know trying to get a true passive restoration all the way back to pterygoids is extremely difficult. And this is probably a real advantage of Passivity Plus for these types of cases.